All right, ready to dive deep. Today it's Greek mythology. And
Sounds fun.
yeah, but we're tackling it with this YouTube video that claims to be the only video you need to watch to understand everything.
Whoa, that's a pretty big claim, huh?
Yeah, Greek mythology is anything be too simple, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But this video is from CU and History Mythology. They do some pretty good educational content.
Okay.
So we're going to see, can one video really cover it all?
That's the question, isn't it?
That's what we're here to find out.
Okay, so let's hear about this video. What's the format like?
Well, instead of just like a boring timeline, it jumps right into the stories. You know, all centered around major figures.
Okay.
Like gods and heroes and monsters and all that.
So it starts with a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, it's Perseus, son of Zeus.
Okay.
And there's already a prophecy about him and a king who's trying to, like, get rid of him.
Oh, so right into the drama.
Oh, yeah, big time. Like the king locks his daughter in a tower. There's a golden shower involved. And that's just the first few minutes.
Wow, so it sounds like they're really trying to hook the viewer right away.
It's like a highlight reel of Greek myth drama for sure.
And right away you get those themes that run through so much of Greek mythology, right? Fate, prophecy, hubris.
Oh, for sure.
You know, that sense that even the gods can't escape destiny.
And then there's Medusa, the Gorgon.
Oh, yeah.
Turn you to stone just by looking at you.
Pretty intense.
Yeah, the video really highlights how clever Perseus had to be, like, to even fight her.
Oh, right. He gets that mirrored shield so he wouldn't have to look directly at her.
Exactly. And you can't forget Pegasus being born from Medusa's blood when Perseus cuts off her head.
Oh, wow.
Wild image, right?
Yeah, for sure. And that one story right there, I mean, it sets up so much of what Greek mythology is about, doesn't it? It's not just gods and monsters. It's about humans and their struggles, too. Courage, you know?
Cleverness.
Yeah. Facing the impossible, those themes that we can all relate to, even today.
Totally. And speaking of facing the impossible, how about Theseus and the Minotaur?
Ah, yeah, classic.
Always gets to me, you know. The classic hero's journey into the unknown, battling a monster in a maze.
And don't forget Ariadne and the ball of yarn.
Oh, yeah, can't forget that. Adds a bit of romance to the whole adventure, right?
It's such a powerful archetype, the lone hero against a monster. But then you see how important human connection is, too.
Yeah?
Like, Ariadne's help is vital for Theseus to survive.
He doesn't do it alone.
Right. That's a good takeaway.
Yeah.
But then, of course, you have that tragic ending.
Oh, yeah. Talk about a twist.
Theseus forgetting to change his sails, his father, the king, thinking he's dead and throws himself into the sea.
Heartbreaking.
It really hits home that even heroes make mistakes, you know, and those mistakes, they can have huge consequences.
Yeah. So, okay, let's move on to maybe the most famous Greek hero.
Okay, who's that?
Hercules.
Oh, of course.
The video does a good job of explaining his origin story.
Oh, right. He wasn't fully a god, was he?
Son of Zeus, an immortal woman, Alcmene,
Okay.
and Hera, Zeus's wife.
Uh-huh.
Let's just say she wasn't thrilled.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole other layer of drama right there. Jealousy.
And revenge. We see her wrath right from the beginning.
What'd she do?
Sends snakes to kill baby Hercules.
Wow, talk about holding a grudge.
No kidding.
That's classic divine jealousy and revenge, though, isn't it? And that theme, it pops up all the time in Greek mythology.
Oh, yeah, constantly.
Hera's vendetta against Hercules, it's like a driving force for so much of his story.
Right. Like a lot of his famous 12 labors were basically Hera trying to punish him.
Oh, really?
And the video doesn't hold back on how epic those labors were. I mean, slaying the Nemean lion,
right,
capturing the Erymanthian boar, stealing the girdle of Hippolyta, the Amazon queen. Each one is more impossible than the last.
Wow, that's a lot to handle.
You'd think he would have proven his point after like the third one, you know?
I guess not.
But it's interesting, though, how those labors weren't just about strength.
What else were they about then?
Well, think about it. Hercules, he's trying to atone for his sins, right? Remember, Hera tricked him into killing his own family.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that part.
So by doing these impossible tasks, it's like he's proving his worth, trying to earn a place among the gods.
Like a redemption arc.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And speaking of redemption, how about the myth of Pandora's box?
Oh, that's a classic. Such a good cautionary tale.
Well, curiosity and unleashing evil into the world, right?
Exactly.
But I think what's really fascinating is how the Greeks saw evil. It wasn't just some abstract force.
Right.
It was something that was literally unleashed into the world.
Like, it was contained before that.
Yeah. And the video goes into how Pandora is created by Hephaestus, the god of the forge.
Okay.
And she gets this beautiful box, but she's told not to open it But of course, curiosity gets the best of her.
Of course.
And she lets out all these evils, disease, pain, suffering.
Yeah, it's not just about the evils themselves. It's that idea that they were contained before.
Right.
That there was a time before suffering.
It's such a powerful idea, like lost innocence, you know?
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. And it speaks to that human struggle between curiosity and what might happen, the consequences.
It's a good reminder that even beautiful things can hide danger.
Definitely. But even with all the bad stuff Pandora lets out, there's still hope left in the box.
Oh.
That's what's so powerful about this myth. Even when we mess up, even when there's suffering, hope is still there.
It's a nice message.
These stories, they're not just about gods and monsters. They're about us, too. It's brilliant how they use these fantastical elements to get at real human emotions and dilemmas.
Absolutely.
You're timeless, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, before we wrap up this part, let's touch on 2 more stories.
Yeah.
Demeter and Persephone, and then Aphrodite and Adonis.
Okay, so 2 very different love stories.
Yeah, both about love and loss, but in different ways. Demeter and Persephone always made me think of autumn.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Demeter, the goddess of agriculture, her daughter Persephone gets abducted by Hades, the god of the underworld. And Demeter's heartbroken.
Right.
So heartbroken that the whole world feels it. The plants start to die.
So that's where the connection to autumn comes in.
It's such a powerful metaphor for the changing seasons, but also for grief itself.
Yeah, I see that.
Like, her grief is so strong, it messes up the natural order.
It makes you think how much our emotions can impact the world around us, doesn't it?
Definitely. And eventually, they strike a bargain.
Oh, okay.
Persephone spends part of the year with Hades in the underworld and part with her mother on Earth.
Ah, okay. So that's why we have the seasons.
Exactly. Spring and summer when she's back, and then autumn and winter when she's gone.
It's a cycle of death and rebirth like the natural world.
And it's about finding balance, right?
Yeah.
Even when there's loss.
I like that.
Okay, now Aphrodite and Adonis. This one's full of passion, jealousy, and it doesn't end well.
Oh, sounds intense.
So Aphrodite, the goddess of love, she falls for this handsome hunter, Adonis.
Okay.
But their happiness is cut short because Adonis gets killed by a wild boar.
Oh, no.
And guess who sent the boar? A jealous Ares, god of war.
Wow, the drama never ends. Seriously. But from his blood, anemone flowers spring up.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Right. It's like beauty coming from tragedy. This myth really shows how fleeting beauty is, but how love, even in death, can endure.
Yeah.
But it also shows the dark side of love, too, you know?
Yeah.
Jealousy, possessiveness, how it can turn violent.
Wow. It's amazing that a myth this old can explore such a complex idea.
Shows how sophisticated the Greeks were when it came to understanding human emotions, right?
Wow.
Okay, I think we've only scratched the surface of this whole world.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I don't think one video can truly capture everything about Greek mythology.
True, but it's definitely gotten us talking.
Right. And hopefully it's got you thinking, too.
Right.
Stick around, because we're going to dive into even more myths and characters in part 2.
Can't wait.
Back for more Greek mythology. I don't know about you, but
I'm ready.
one thing that's really hitting me is how this video isn't just telling these myths one after another. Yeah, it's starting to connect them.
Okay.
Like it's revealing these patterns, you know?
Yeah, and that's what makes it so interesting.
Right, like you start to see the bigger picture.
Exactly. It's like each myth is a thread, and together they make this whole tapestry.
I like that.
And these patterns, they show us how the ancient Greeks saw the world.
Their beliefs, their values, you know, all that.
Right. Like one thing that keeps popping up is transformation.
Oh, yeah, metamorphosis.
Yeah. Like Daphne turning into a tree to get away from Apollo.
Right.
Or Io, she gets turned into a cow by Zeus to hide from Hera.
Oh, that's right. That was a messy situation.
Totally. But what do you think all these transformations mean?
Well, scholars have debated that for a long time. I mean, sometimes it's a punishment or a way to escape danger, right?
Yeah.
But it also points to this idea of humans and animals not being so separate. Like this concept of the therianthropy, the human-animal hybrid, which was a big deal in ancient Greek religion.
So it's like they believe humans could shift and change just like nature.
Yeah, they weren't separate from nature. They were part of it.
Wow. That's pretty profound when you think about it.
And think about the impact on literature.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Ovid's Metamorphoses, right. It's all about these transformation myths, and it was hugely influential.
Okay.
Inspired so many writers, from Shakespeare to Dante to Kafka.
So these ancient myths are still shaping how we tell stories today.
Exactly.
Wow, never thought about it like that.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
So, okay, let's get back to the video. It tells this story about Cadmus.
Okay, who's he?
Well, he's trying to find his sister Europa, the one Zeus kind of kidnapped, shall we say.
Oh, yeah, another one of Zeus's adventures.
Seriously. So Cadmus ends up founding the city of Thebes.
Okay.
But it's not easy. He has to follow a cow, slay a dragon, and then plant its teeth. And then those teeth sprout into warriors.
That's wild.
Talk about a complicated city planning process.
Right. But it makes sense when you think about it. So many Greek myths are about the founding of cities and civilizations.
It's like their national legends. You know?
Yeah, I see that.
Connecting their origins to these epic events and larger-than-life figures.
It's about explaining how their world came to be.
It gives them a sense of place, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And every culture does that in some way. It's a basic human need.
Okay, this next one's a little different. It's about Hermaphroditus.
Okay, I don't know that one.
So he's the child of Hermes and Aphrodite, and he ends up merging with a nymph named Salmacis.
Okay.
And they create a being that's both male and female.
That's interesting. Especially for a myth this old.
It really challenges our ideas about gender, doesn't it?
It does, and it's been interpreted in so many ways throughout history.
Like what?
Well, some people see it as a warning about obsession.
Okay.
But others see it as celebrating the fluidity of gender, you know?
It's cool how one story can spark so many different interpretations.
Definitely. That's what makes myths so fascinating.
Okay, ready for some more divine drama?
Hit me with it.
This one's about Tithonus, a guy who gets granted immortality by the goddess of the dawn, Eos. But he doesn't get eternal youth, so he just keeps aging. Forever.
Oh, no.
Talk about a be careful what you wish for situation, right?
Yeah. It makes you think, is immortality really a blessing?
Right. Like, would you really want to live forever if you just kept getting older and weaker? And everyone you love dies.
That's a heavy thought.
Okay, let's lighten things up a bit. How about Phaethon, the son of Helios, the sun god?
Okay.
He gets to drive his dad's chariot across the sky.
That sounds fun.
Well, it doesn't go so well.
Oh, no. What happens?
He loses control of the horses, ends up scorching the earth. The video actually links this to the creation of the Sahara Desert.
Oh, wow.
Talk about a bad day, right? Zeus has to step in and strike him down with a thunderbolt to stop him.
Another case of hubris leading to downfall.
Don't mess with the sun chariot, kids.
Good advice.
But it's interesting how these myths explain natural things, you know?
Yeah, it's like they're trying to make sense of the world through these stories.
Totally. Okay, ready for another tale of divine revenge?
Oh.
This one's about Io again, that princess who caught Zeus's eye. Hera is not happy about it, so Zeus turns Io into a cow to hide her.
Right, that's how she became a cow in the first place.
But Hera sees through it and puts Argus Panoptes, this giant with 100 eyes, to guard her.
100 eyes?
Yeah. But Hermes ends up lulling Argus to sleep with his flute and then kills him.
Oh, wow.
But Io still isn't free. Hera sends a gadfly to torment her.
That's rough.
The video even connects this to the origin of the goddess Isis in Egyptian mythology, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, it shows how Greek mythology was connected to other cultures.
They weren't isolated.
Right, they borrowed and adapted stories from other places.
So it's all part of this larger web of storytelling.
It's fascinating how these ancient cultures influenced each other.
Okay, this next one is about the origin of the Milky Way.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So baby Hercules, he's suckling from Hera, right? But he's so strong that she pushes him away and her milk spills across the sky.
And that's how the Milky Way was formed.
It's according to the Greeks.
That's pretty imaginative.
It's like they wanted to make even the most awe-inspiring things relatable through these stories.
Yeah, they brought the heavens down to earth, so to speak.
Exactly.